We could leave the day after tomorrow. What's your king? Sol murmurs to Teddy. I can't go until after next Thursday, Teddy says, moving his king piece behind the shield wall. Why not? I slide another maiden into position. He hesitates for just a moment before answering. I'm needed at the forge. Something in his tone is off. Teddy's a terrible liar. I look over at Sol, who is busy studying the board, and I get a sudden, awful feeling that they're hiding something from me. I thought Wayland was giving you the whole summer off. Teddy shrugs. It's just a few extra days. We can go next Friday, Sol says. Forecast says it will rain this weekend anyway. I vote for Dryad Saddle. We'll see if the damson plum is fruiting this year and we can explore more of the cave we found behind the falls. Sounds good to me. Teddy turns another of my maidens red, and Sol slips his black raven around the edge of the board where there's a gap in Teddy's shield wall. The tension leaves my shoulders as I remember last summer. Our lips and fingers stained purple from damson, lazing by the banks of the Myra and falling asleep under the stars. You'll never get through, Teddy informs me, capturing another maiden. Admit it, I win. I glance at Sol, whose mouth twitches in a suppressed smile. Never, I tell Teddy. A shield maiden fights to the end. He laughs. Oh, Mary, he says, always so competitive. Is being joint ducks of our school not enough for you? He leans on the word joint because he knows it rankles. Never before in the history of Candlecott School have there been two duckses. I'm certain that I'm the rightful one, and that Caraway Boswell's father increased his endowment because he couldn't stand the idea of his precious son coming second. Teddy takes advantage of my brief moment of seething resentment and turns my last maiden red. He lets out a shout of triumph. Bow before your king! I curtsy theatrically. A mighty show of strength, my lord. Just not quite mighty enough. Teddy looks back down at the board as Sol moves his raven into the castle. Teddy swears good-naturedly as his king crumbles into glittering black dust. Again? Sol asks, sweeping the pieces back into the box to reset them. Teddy leans back and stretches lazily. He's effortlessly handsome in jeans and a slouchy pullover, square-jawed and hazel-eyed, his golden hair swept over his brow. Something catches in my chest when I look at him. We were 7 years old when I made the rule. We swore a blood oath, the three of us, to be best friends forever. And I made Teddy and Sol swear that they would never fall in love with me. I knew that any romance would upset the balance between us, the perfect harmony of three friends. And I was 7, then. Romance was the furthest thing from my mind. But now I'm 17, and Teddy is the leading man in all my nighttime fantasies. One of the toolboard maidens slips from Sol's fingers and tumbles to the floor. Curses, he says, picking up the broken pieces. Why do they make them so fragile? I can fix it, Teddy says. He takes the pieces from Sol and frowns at them, concentrating. I look at him threadwise to see ghostly hands manipulating the metal of the little stone fragments, pulling them back together, drawing on energy from other things in the room, daffodils in a vase, the rising bubbles from his can of red currant fizz, the fingerprints in the clay statue on the mantelpiece. He whispers to himself as he works, muttering song lyrics or a nursery rhyme. There is metal in oft-repeated words. The stone maiden clicks together, good as new. Teddy hands it back to Sol and then turns to me, already defensive. What? He says. I shake my head. You know what? You should be more careful. I'm not the one who dropped it. Was that a covenant spell? I ask. Teddy shrugs. Teddy!